Okay, hello. This is part 2 of this video. First part took about half an hour or so. Actually, I tell a lie, 37 minutes. And then you put on your earpods and stop assessing my skill at... Okay, I'm going to stop talking about that. Right. So, I have a few things I wanted to do when I came back. I thought the daisies are the central point really, and I want to enhance them a little bit. So I think I'll put some paint on to make them bigger and possibly introduce the yellow centres as well. Okay, so I'm going to get a brush now that it's a good size for those daisies. And the white paint. A clean surface to put the white paint on. And I forgot to say, this is Anya Devine here, coming to you from south of Edinburgh in Scotland, in a place called Milton Bridge. I've got a little studio in the garden, but this is my living room table that I'm working on. And you know, I've actually got a studio in Kilkenzie as well, East Lothian, about half an hour's drive from here. And it's that half an hour that's the issue really. I don't tend to go there so much, although I love it. It's by the sea. I love the location, but I don't seem to work so much in the studio there over the last couple of years anyway. So we'll see about that. That's where I teach as well though, so it's handy having a studio there, really is handy. Right, so I'm extending some of these daisies a little bit. Some of the petals of the daisies. There's this one that faces down the way there as well, and so they're brighter on the right hand side because that's where the light is coming from. I get trigger happy with the paint now, and I've started to notice that there's some things like the stems of the buttercups that I might like to do in paint as well, and maybe even the green leaves. Let's see, maybe if I stick with the daisies for a little while longer before going into all the colours. Just wanted to extend some of those petals and to maybe make them read more as daisies as well, because I used the stencil that was like a kind of a, I can find it there, I'll show it to you. There it is, it's kind of Christmassy stencil, you know, so it's more like snowdrops that I was printing, or star shapes. That's what I used earlier for the daisies, and now I want to make them more daisy like. So I'm just I'm looking at the individual daisies a little bit, the edges of them where the brightest petals are in relation to the background colour. And I hope I'm not losing the character of them now by painting all these new shapes into them, because I thought there was something quite dramatic, alright, wasn't there, about the stencil of those daisies. It kind of gave a feeling of like a flurry of daisies straight away when I printed them on. So I'm hoping that I'm going to keep that feeling of the flurry of daisies, but just have the individual ones a little bit more daisy-like than the snowflakey star shapes that there were. Right, it's quite dark there, so it's almost like Payne's grey mixed with the white will give me the colour of the daisy that's extending into the dark over here. It's significantly darker than the other daisies, but it's equally clear to me from where I'm sitting anyway. I could include some of that shadow underneath some of the brighter daisies here too. It feels like I'm taking a risk here, like it's a whole new thing that I'm introducing, but hopefully with the yellow centres I'll get away with it. I feel like I want to bring you closer. That's exciting. The easel actually moves a bit like a camera tripod. Here, the camera is attached to the easel. Okay, that's about as close as I'm going to risk it for now. So I'll get another clean brush, a smaller one. And what am I going to do now? I'm either going to stick on the centres. Let's try one like that. Either stick on the centres or paint on the centres. Needs to be a bit smaller if I'm sticking it on. Let's see what it looks like stuck on. I've decided I'm going to do a couple of paintings before going to Ireland of flowers that are not with collage but mostly painted. That's for gifts and well, they're commissions, but for wedding gifts, and I want them to be painted from start to finish rather than using collage. Just, I don't know, I want, yeah, just to do something like I used to always work that way. I do love the spontaneity of the collage, but it's also helpful for me to restrict my use of collage sometimes, or to, you know, to make it like a bridge between paintings rather than a thing in its own right. As I say that, it doesn't feel right, because it's one of the things I really love is using collage, and I think as a medium in its own right, it's perfectly respectable. Sure, Matisse was a great believer in collage, wasn't he? No. Just trying to find the centres. What do you think? How are we doing there? It's a little bit square and a bit big. We've got those three. And really, there's one down here, you know. And there's another one, darker one there. To be honest, I've put in more daisies than there actually are, so I'm just going to put another centre in the one here. Like, that's a nice bright one, so I'll make that maybe a bigger one. Plop it in there. I'm listening to a bit of Celine Dion in the car, so I've got her in my head now. Kind of hard not to sing. I'm not sure if I've enhanced this or not by putting those daisies in more clearly. I think maybe if I give Hi Erin. Hi.
Is it ready yet?
Yeah, it's on top of the cooker. You could stick it into the cooker for another. I'm just doing a video. You could stick it into the cooker for another tiny bit, I'd say, if you want to heat it up, like. I'm gonna do something more with those. Oh, sugar. With the leaves, I thought, now that I've done a bit more to the daisies, that maybe what's called for is a bit more action in the leaves area. So when I mix the white with the sap green, it gives me a colour that feels quite pleasing for the buttercup leaves. The only thing is the background now needs to be established again, because I did a whole bunch of, oh god, it's still wet. Dearie me. I suppose the thing was that there was alcohol ink on there too, wasn't there? Right, let's see how we get on with that. Yeah? About 5 minutes. Do you want to, is it cold? The oven's on if you want to put it in. It's freezing, Erin, I'd say, is it?
Not warm.
Right. Almost done now. think if I mix the Payne's grey with the green, it'll give me more of the slightly shadow colour of the leaf on this side. Okay, I'm going to use the dark colour for the background. Just want to get the shape of this here and there, get some of the darks in. And the other side of that stem. Maybe just some bit of Payne's grey in the middle too, in this area.
Just eat her paw. Who's Max? Max, family singing? Who's that? A boy? Someone's just getting close down here?
Yeah.
Parent! How about your carpet?
I'll maybe just use some Payne's grey, a bit more Payne's grey, and that'll be me then. If I can find it. Yes. See, I think I could use it even in places in between. Yes, like in here, under some of the daisies maybe. Lily, no swearing please.
Is it cold or down?
I'd say another 5 minutes. don't know, have I gone overboard with this now? Okay. Can I outline things? Maybe outlining things a little bit too much, I don't know. Anyway, it's done now. I'm just going to put a little touch of warmth, of light, I should say, on the edge of the cup so that the rim stands out a little bit more than the rest of the cup. So my singing of Celine Dion is going to drown out background. Carry on, maybe.
Where's the blankets gone?
Dunno. On the swinging seat. Right, I think I might stop there. I keep saying that, don't I? Just the last thing I might do now was a bit of ink, so I'll put it flat on the table so that it's not going to go everywhere. Because I want to brighten up the buttercups with some of this ink. I need to leave it flat for quite a while now in order that that'll dry. Maybe even a touch of that yellow in the centre of the daisies. You can't do a touch of yellow with this blessed thing though. It's either all or nothing. Right, I think that's me. I'm going to stop. Finally. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.